Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Manic Movie Misses podcast. I'm half your host, Trevor. We're joined here by our gracious friend, John. And our other co-host, John. He's still reading. He's been reading since last episode. Some say he's never moved. Some say that he's been... I mean, if he does move, he's reading while he's driving. He's reading while he's watching movies. He's never stopped reading.
Officer, it's okay. It's Jack London.
Guys, stop interrupting me. I'm trying to read, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Stop interrupting my concentration.
So you've been reading a week straight, and you've gotten, 200 pages in?
I'm convinced he just doesn't know how to read, and he's just staring at the pages trying to learn how to read.
Maybe one day it will come to me.
All right, that's it.
It'll all click into place.
I have to defend myself.
The book is upside down.
This is what I have to say about all of this stuff.
Brother, this guy stinks!
Classic.
Oh.
That is aimed at both of you.
Thank you.
As a SpongeBob connoisseur myself, that is it's a brilliant audio clip.
Thank you.
And as a bad podcast host, I approve.
I also have two others that you just have to be made aware of, John.
Okay.
Troopers, the war is canceled. We can all go home.
Maybe a little louder.
It's canceled.
Troopers,
There it is.
the
That's a
war
little better.
is canceled. We can all go home.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have one more, which is we have a couple others, but this is the other one you need to be made aware of.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
From Speed, remember? Dennis Hopper.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, pop quiz, hot shot.
Yeah.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Classic.
Speaking of Dennis Hopper, we watched Apocalypse Now recently. Now, we don't have to do some complex psychological breakdown of the film, but I am interested in what you guys thought. On your rewatch, TJ, and John, on your first watch of Apocalypse Now as a first-time viewer, do either of you have any thoughts on your watch?
You want to go?
Sure.
I was going to say, as our guest.
Yeah, I think initial thoughts, I couldn't really think about anything until I absorbed it all.
I mean, you can't think a lot of times, so that, with a lot of things. So
Okay.
but I don't know if that's particularly unique.
Love
to
this
Apocalypse
podcast.
Now, but I just
Okay. Fair enough.
We're cheersing the camera already.
I know.
Rough start. But no, I mean, initial thoughts, it was just, it was a lot to take in. I allegedly had a very similar feeling and reaction to Emerson the first time we watched it. Just that feeling of like absolute absurdity where you're just sitting there, you don't know what to do with yourself. You just feel like a shell of a human, which I think is the point of the movie. So I don't know. I think, not getting into the psychological mud of things, but it was, gave you a lot to think about, which I love those kind of movies. So
Yeah, I agree. I think that's exactly what Coppola and the filmmakers, all the different filmmakers in that project, that's what their intentions were, is to slowly make you kind of go insane and just sit in this very dark, psychotic journey that these characters are going on, and they want you to do it subconsciously as a viewer, not to totally realize it till the very end, or at least close to the very end. And you don't realize just how straightforward the movie started out. I mean, I'd say that, and then there's just a casually Martin Sheen dancing around the hotel room and breaking a mirror with all his PTSD filled, with all just his PTSD, but for the most part starting out as what looks like a basic Vietnam movie, but then obviously by the end it's nothing like that. It's just so well done for that reason and many more, many others, which we can go into. But TJ, is there anything you wanted to hit on?
Yeah, I mean, Nothing-
Any your first impressions on the rewatch?
Yeah, so I hadn't seen this probably since I was like 16, and so it was dire need of a rewatch because I mean, it'd been a hot minute, and I gotta say it was just as good as I remembered. I mean, if not a little better. Love the movie; it's fantastic. So.
One of my all-time favorite lines ever, just read and written, which is "Someday this war will end." We had a discussion about that, but just the duality of that line. What does he mean? Is he saying that because he's going to miss all of the adrenaline-filled, just rampaging and destruction of villages? Or is he saying that because he's sad because of all the destruction and all the lives that it will cause to die? Is he saying it for that reason? We don't know, because he clearly likes the destruction of villages, but at the same time, there clearly is that toll that everyone realizes. And so what it's up to you what you believe he's saying. But it's the delivery and, of course, the line itself. It's really the delivery, right? If you don't sell that line and there isn't that, like, ISO shot, right, of Duvall saying that, you can clearly tell that there's something to it. There's something deep in that line reading. And that's why viewers... That's the popular take, the one that I'm talking about, the popular reading, interpretation of the line. But if you don't have Duvall's acting, which how he didn't win an Oscar is beyond me, but considering how iconic that role is and how well that whole, specifically, right, that monologue that he has, how just brilliant that is, because that comes out with some hitters, right? Because he starts with, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Mm-hmm. And then just ends with, someday this war will end. And he gets up and walks away. It's just... But I every time I hear that line, I just get chills. It's just... And then from then on, once that line hits, soon enough, the boys go back on the boat and they start taking their journey upriver. And it just gets progressively more and more insane, psychotic... Everything in between. I know, TJ, you said one of your favorite... I think it was your favorite line that followed your favorite scene, which is when they do the inspection of the boat. Yeah,
I think on my first watch, I was like, this is the best scene. And then even on rewatch, I confirmed it. That whole sequence is like... We talked about this with like Sicario when we talked about that like 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. Like, it's just like god tier level tension filmmaking where it's like it just like progressively gets more and more. You're like, okay, this is like making me uncomfortable, and it's everything right about that kind of filmmaking. So
what I love about that scene is, and what makes it so good, and I think this is, TJ, exactly why you love it, is, okay, spoilers for the next minute. Just want to say that. There's the part, well, obviously, Clean shoots down all of the people in the boat, and then they see that the one girl who was reaching for the puppy in the basket is still slightly alive, and they say, oh, we're going to take her in, and Martin Sheen, Marlowe, just kills her, and says, no, we're continuing upriver with our mission. The hypocrisy is so well stated in that scene, because you have the military members of the boat didn't react at all, really, to Clean's killing. Like, they thought, totally, that's routine. That's what you're supposed to do. Inspecting the boat's routine. Killing all those people's routine, because you never know if she was reaching for a grenade. But when Marlowe kills the girl, suddenly they think that, oh, that was not okay. You can't do that. When in reality, what's the difference? There is none.
No. Yeah, at the end of the day.
He's killing those same people that Clean was killing, yet it was okay for Clean to do it because that was procedure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Chef's reaction was perfect for that to resonate with the audience. I think he was a perfect plant, like where he stood, his reaction to both sides of the killing. I mean, he really represented that innocence and like purity of life, and how he was just like let's just kill them all at this point. Like, what difference does it make? We're just killing everyone for what?
Yeah. And I should say, it's not like they didn't react. They did react when Clean was mowed down those guys, right? Like you said, Chef, he did react. But you see how the captain of the boat reacts between the two, right? Like, people like the captain, he's totally just, Clean had to shoot those people because there could have been a grenade. But of course, God forbid, Martin Sheen's character kills one more person for the sake of the mission. Now all of a sudden it's wrong.
Yeah.
And that's the hypocrisy. And I think you said this, TJ, but you like it, right? Because it's so blatant. It's so just on the nose. It's
on the nose, and it's just like, it's so tense. And I mean, I just love the feeling of feeling uncomfortable with movies. And I think that's just like everything that sequence is. But yeah, I mean, like, just like the vibe, or not the vibe, but like the message behind it and all that is very well done. And it kind of hits some of the noses of, or like hits on the nose of some of the parts of the movie that wants to talk about and stuff like that. It's, I think, a perfect sequence in the movie.
It is. Also comes out of nowhere too, which is cool.
That too.
It seems so normal. It seems just like normal inspection that won't really go anywhere. But and of course, it's so sad and just even more devastating when you find out that the girl was going for a puppy.
Yeah.
Great choice, TJ. John, did you have a favorite scene or line? I mentioned my favorite line, of course, and TJ mentioned his favorite scene.
I think that was my favorite scene as well, was that whole boat invasion, because I think that was where things took a turn, because it was just, a power trip. The captain was like, no, this is procedure, even though we're helping, Martin Sheen on his mission. I'm just going to do this thing because I'm the captain of this boat. So it just seemed really, like I said, that power trip. And then just to have it end with killing these 3 innocent people and moving on with the mission, I thought it just encapsulated the entire movie in that one scene. I thought it was really well done, and I think emotionally struck the audience, or at least me, the most, because we were still kind of on their side. We didn't feel insane quite yet, and after that, it hit hard.
For sure. I want to read the line just because it's so just blatant and hits you like a ton of bricks right after that scene, which is, it was the way we had over here of living with ourselves. We'd cut them in half with a machine gun and give them a Band-Aid. For a while, that was my favorite line, and it is still one of the most iconic lines, but yeah, it's up there for me still. It's top 3. It's just, what makes it more impactful too is they give you a second to breathe. They give you a longer time to stay in shock before Marlowe narrates that line.
Yeah, you got a minute or two to like, oh shit.
In fact, it even cuts to black. It cuts to black, and then it fades into them at night driving upriver, and then Marlowe says that line. By the way, I know the name of the character that Martin Sheen is playing in Heart of Darkness is Marlowe. Is it Marlowe in Apocalypse Now? I'm saying that right? I think I might be wrong.
I can't remember.
I don't know if it's Marlowe as well in the movie. Are you looking it up, TJ? Willard, that's right. Yeah, so I'm confusing a lot of people. So it's based on a novella called The Heart of Darkness, and the character that Martin Sheen is playing is Marlowe in the book. So my bad, novella.
English majors.
I won't get into that. I'll save the audience, but good novella, should be checked out. And I think there's a reason why it's one of the great adaptions of all time. Apocalypse Now, people put it up there just because they're so between the colonialism and imperialism that they're talking about in Heart of Darkness, and a lot of the central themes of that are aligned so well with the Vietnam War, in part because the Vietnam War also does have traits of imperialism in it, right? Mm-hmm. It's going over to a foreign country, a different country, to say, hey, we're going to save you, we're going to help you, when in reality making it worse in many ways.
Oh, yeah.
That is what imperialism is, and colonialism is in many ways. It's, we're going to give you our ideals, we're going to give you help, when in reality it's no, you are going to be our slaves and we're going to do what we want to do. All right, I got that. I'm good now.
No,
I got that out.
We talk about fun things on this podcast.
We do. I know this is the Manic Movie Misfits podcast, but sometimes I have to get deep, guys.
That was well said, John.
The
just have to say
melodramatic
things.
movie misfits.
Yeah. I promise this podcast will get funnier. I promise. But this is one of my favorite movies, so...
Oh, yeah.
And we have the next movie we're going to talk about, which TJ didn't know we were going to talk about it, but I want to because it's one of TJ's favorites. That'll be a good conversation, too. Hopefully it'll take a... That also is kind of sad movie, but in many ways, but...
Yeah.
But anyway, Apocalypse Now, is there anything else you guys like to mention about it? Cinematography's great, of course. There's, like I said, I think there's no flaws to the movie, if not very few. The one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, TJ, is we don't have to debate necessarily because we had a lengthy debate a couple episodes ago, so we don't need to have another one of those.
Okay.
I'll mediate.
Yeah.
We had the Creed movie debate, which was a healthy one, I should say, for John or those who didn't hear that debate. We didn't like yell at each other or anything.
No.
It was a healthy debate, but I don't know if we want to do another one of those because they're tiring. But you, TJ, said that you had a problem with the bridge scene, the final outpost scene.
Okay. I should rephrase this.
Okay.
I don't have okay. For preface, this is my least favorite sequence in the movie. I think not just like it just is. I don't think there's any like way around it. I like the sequence. I think it's beautifully crafted, and I think like the idea of it's really cool. It just vibe wise for me, it doesn't hit it like the rest of the movie, and it's the section I always check out at. I never find myself being that engaged at it. I just think I'm like I don't compared to all the other sequences. This is a sequence I just don't really care for.
Yeah, and I was confused at first when you said that, and I kind of pondered it after we hung out and watched the movie, and I do kind of see where you're coming from, but
Yeah.
where I push back is the fact that, as TJ so eloquently pointed out, it is very beautifully shot and very well crafted, as well as it reinforces the theme of the movie and reinforces their slow descent into madness, right? They're seeing...
People who are truly insane.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it's like I've never found this section that the most interesting personally, in terms of like actually like looking at the screen. I'm like, I like the other parts better personally. That's just me though.
And just like that, I will never trust TJ's opinion again.
No,
it's. I'm so happy I get to cut him off.
Give me those sound bites.
No,
This is where the War of the Johns begins.
I just wanted to say that TJ, I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But I disagree, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. The War of the Johns from 2024 on. Actually, no, this has been going on for years now that you think about it.
There can only be one.
In our group chat we have a group chat, just us three. It's called One Less John.
Operation One Less John.
Excuse me, Operation One Less John. So far, the operation has not come to an end because we're both still here. But just so you guys know, it's a thing and it's been going on.
I have found one of the John's Achilles heel, though, so being his hamstring.
So it's not an Achilles heel.
It's an Achilles hamstring.
It's an Achilles hamstring.
Next best thing.
Is there some sort of myth that I'm missing where they covered the hamstring bit? Like there was a different myth where they covered the hamstring, not the heel.
It was one of Zeus's kids.
Oh, okay.
Hercules?
No, the other one.
Hercules.
So obviously they dipped Achilles by the heel, right? His mother did, I believe, into the river to make him invincible. So how did they dip me in the water then? Were they just they literally just ripped my hamstring muscle out of my leg so they could dip me in the river like this?
Yeah, they used it as a bungee cord.
I'm trying to picture that.
After that happened, too, I gave like Achilles, I went into battle and gave this legendary speech.
Troopers, the war is canceled. We can all go home.
And I'll go home.
Speaking of which, TJ,
Oh, yeah.
show the camera.
I have to move my mic a little bit.
That's okay.
Yeah. John got me a shirt for my birthday that's Street Fighter related, and it's the infamous scene that we quote probably every podcast at this point.
Yes. By the way, John, just so you know, I did a full-on speech. I read that entire speech.
You did?
He did a full dramatic reading.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That it was.
Was it? Is
I cried.
TJ cried. I cried a little too, to be honest.
Okay.
But it really energized us for the rest of the episode.
Was this before or after the heated debate?
Was this the same episode? No, it was
It's a different episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were good. But I will say, can we all agree that we need more of that in life? A healthy debates where no one's throwing out insults.
What are we, marriage counseling?
Everyone's hearing each other's side. We need more of that in society. We do. And TJ and I did have a very healthy debate, which, if you want to check out that episode or wondering what we're talking about, we ranked all of the Rocky movies, and there'll be a little card right here or right here that you can click on the YouTube video.
John's gone schizophrenic. He sees little eye buttons right in the corners of his vision. His life is like a YouTube video. It's not like a video game.
Poor John.
My life is like a video game.
So what's like that recommended bar of videos? What shows up in John's life?
I don't know. I think Lizard Squad.
Okay.
That's always a classic.
The Duck song, probably.
We are Lizard Squad.
Several depressing songs.
Have you not seen Lizard
I
Squad?
don't know that one.
It's akin to like the Minecraft ones we were talking about earlier.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those kinds of videos.
Got
It's
it.
very funny.
Got it.
Anything else about Apocalypse Now?
I wish the apocalypse was later.
TJ and I have had this running joke where if they make a prequel or a sequel, we need Apocalypse before and Apocalypse after, or a variety of different.
That would be awesome
Titles.
if they did just different wars. And
Yeah.
then, so they just did like Afghanistan for Apocalypse later, and then Apocalypse before would just be like
World War One.
Well, no, here's
Yeah,
the thing
seriously.
though. There's been so many wars in Vietnam and Cambodia in that area. They could just do one of those. Dude, Apocalypse before could be when the French were fighting the Vietnamese.
True.
That could-
Ooh,
that could be
that'd be a good prequel for that French family.
Yep, facts. Which is the one scene. So we watched the what is it called? Final Cut, right?
Final Cut.
Yes, which includes the scene with the French, which seems on the surface very separate from the themes of the movie, but in reality actually fits in quite well. It does, but we just mentioned in our conversation after the movie that the tail end of that scene, we all agreed, kind of came out of nowhere and really made no sense and didn't really contribute a whole lot to the movie.
That's the objective worst part of that movie, in my opinion.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
The one question I was going to ask you guys is, what's your thoughts on comparing this to, let's say, Lawrence of Arabia? What's your thoughts on movies, books that portray war in a romantic way, and movies that portray war in a very dark, realistic way, I guess you would say? You don't have to get super deep with it. I'm just saying, stylistically or from a storytelling perspective, however you want to take it, you can take it wherever you want. It doesn't have to be deep. What are your thoughts on that difference as people who have all seen both movies in this room?
Go for it, Shoddy.
Thanks, Boo.
In your
You're my
dreams,
boo.
are you T.E. Lawrence standing on a sand dune being like, boys, we're about to go take out this train?
Yeah, if that train was your hamstring. Can you imagine though, just like scythe in hand, how like clean that would just.
Now I actually am thinking you're going to do it.
Ooh, did you think I was joking before? I'm sorry. Lost in translation. Segue. I like what you think, senor.
Dude, you should have said that after you got your point out, because it would have been a perfect transition.
No, wait.
Idiot.
Audience, forget what I just said. Okay, this is gonna
About
work.
the little
I swear.
MIB thing.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Put on my sunglasses. Oh yes. Okay. Storytelling wise, I think it was a very interesting. It's a very interesting pair of movies to compare, because I feel like with Apocalypse Now and Lawrence of Arabia, very similar in essence, but I think as you progress, Apocalypse Now will make you feel crazy, along with the protagonist, but Lawrence of Arabia, you see him go crazy, and you're just left felt sad for him. You pity him. So it doesn't.
Do you think that makes Lawrence of Arabia worse?
I don't think so. I think it's just a different perspective. I think
It's a different way of telling a story.
exactly,
Yeah.
and that's simple as that. Both objectively incredible movies.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible movies. They just won't make either of those movies ever again.
Mm-mm.
No.
Not the audience for it today.
No. And TJ, I want you to speak your thoughts as well, but the behind the scenes of Apocalypse Now is just insane.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I mean, just, the level of production on like that, just those kinds of movies from that time was insane on every level. I mean, you watch some of those old war movies or just like big movies in general, and you're like, this is just crazy to look at. Like the amount of coordination from people.
The amount of things that have to go right.
Exactly. And like, as much as like they don't make them now, that is one thing I did like about Babylon, was like they tried to do stuff like that, except no one watched that damn movie, and it rocked. Parts of it rocked, like especially the parts where they do stuff like that. And it was like, man, if people like actually watch this craft, it would actually be successful, and we'd see more of this. But no, it's dead. That was like the final nail in the coffin. And we're back. All right.
Back in black.
'Cause I'm back in black.
I broke a guitar string playing that song.
You idiot.
It like flew into my face. I remember the feeling. It was so
I'm sure
metal.
that felt good.
It was so metal. It was like, that was my initiation as a guitarist.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I'll do the same to your hamstring.
We just need a hamstring counter. I think that's 3.
We need a sound bite for that. What would it be?
Prepare the sickle. John's coming for that hamstring, baby. Oh yeah.
It could. Well, what if I just take this thing as from an eye to an eye philosophy here, where you take my hamstring, I'll take yours.
What if I take like the wrong hamstring though? So you're just like hamstringless.
Okay, well, wheelchairs exist. So I'll get a wheelchair. I'll have William get me a wheelchair.
So I'll just climb some stairs and just neener.
He's got to get on one like those little things that like attaches to the wall.
Yeah.
He escalates up.
I mean, guns do exist, John, and bow and arrows do exist.
But or you could be like the Gremlins and mess it up and have her shoot up the have him shoot up the thing like the old granny in Gremlins.
Just launch.
That's
Okay.
a gem of a movie.
Do the Gremlins from Gremlins make Apocalypse Now a better movie? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I really liked it when Gizmo said, "I like the smell of napalm in the morning."
Yes. I forgot about that scene.
Oh yeah, he says it to Phoebe Cates.
Okay, get serious. No.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to add, TJ, with the romantic versus real dark portrayal of war films?
I mean, yeah, I think it just kind of comes with the time of like what it's made. And I think Lawrence of Arabia is just like a good like, here's how films were made in the 50s. Like here's like our look into war. And then like you get stuff from like the 70s and the 90s and stuff like that where it's like things are inherently a little more darker. And then you get like stuff like Saving Private Ryan and Thin Red Line, which is also very philosophical war films. And then like that just adds to like its own kind of thing. But like, I mean, David Lean is such a good director, and his take on like a very different style, and I mean, it's just inherently the time, but it's awesome. It's great. I need to rewatch that movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do the same thing in literature. I know, I'm sorry. It's this pendulum. I mean, it's society as a whole. It's art in general, right? After wars or after times of great highs, it goes to the lows, right? After war or very hard-hitting realist or very hard-hitting sad events, it swings like that. You go from
Even without that, I mean, like look at music in the 80s versus the 90s. I mean, you have 80s music, which is all poppy and fun, and you get the 90s where it's like, we're going to do the exact opposite because screw that kind of music. And I think that just kind of comes ebbs and flows every decade or so, and it makes it interesting. So
I think your point is very well taken, TJ, because it's totally true.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on Apocalypse Now before we move on? After you guys do the slow, I thought you guys aren't gonna do the slow. You weren't gonna do the
Predator.
Predator?
From Predator.
Do that for us real quickly. Get a
Close up
good.
with the camera. Just CGI my bicep 3 times the size.
Oh, I love that movie.
Get to the chopper.
Classic. Dude, I was watching Kindergarten Cop the other day. Great film.
Haven't seen it.
It's a subsequent movie film, my friend.
Dylan, they got you pushing too many pencils. It's a Predator reference.
TJ, I don't know how much you want to talk about this, but I know I should at least.
Sorry, I just really need to interrupt you at least once.
The awkward silence is really deafening and is really getting to me as a person. And I think this is the root of why I'm in therapy.
Brother, this guy stinks!
Okay, John. I don't know how much you want to talk about it, TJ, but I thought I should at least bring it up because I know how much you love it.
Yeah.
You showed us Lost in Translation.
I did.
A week after we showed John Apocalypse Now.
AKA the other day.
AKA the other day.
It's been a
across the pond.
Yeah.
That is the Boise River, which is not a pond and is in fact a river.
Which
Are you
is
sure about
multiple
that?
ponds.
Sure.
Multiple thin ponds.
Multiple thin red lines.
Or the Thin Blue Line, that old documentary from the 80s, I think. Errol Morris. I've yet to watch it. I've heard it's good. It's a classic.
Okay. TJ,
Yes.
why'd you want to show us Lost in Translation?
It's one of my favorite movies ever made. It's a very personal film for me. And I was feeling it. I was really wanting to rewatch it just in general. And so I subjected you guys to it because why not? And so, yeah, it was a fun to rewatch. I love that movie so much, obviously, considering it's one of my favorite movies ever made. Makes it into my top 4 on top 5 movies. I love it. It's funny. It's while also being hard hitting and like very depressing and sad. But it's also uplifting, and it's this weird hodgepodge of like a lot of feelings. Oh, Jesus Christ! It's a weird hodgepodge of like a bunch of different feelings, and I love it. It's always a joy to rewatch and like experience because, yeah.
I'm a big fan of, well, as the audience knows, Before Sunrise, we both are. We literally have a poster in the room.
Really? No.
No, we don't actually.
The cameras can't see it.
They can't.
True, but I've mentioned it in the previous episodes.
If you can't see,
But maybe you should actually be listening to the episodes, John, and you would know.
Seeing is believing.
it's like Aliens. I want to believe.
Oh, X-Files?
X-Files, yeah.
I'm a really big fan of season 9. I knew that would kill you.
Bro, don't. Not right now. Now's not a good time.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
It's always a
it's
good
true.
time.
It's always a good time to talk about season 9 of the X-Files. No, it's not. Okay. Before you guys interrupted me for the 15th time,
That's what we're good at.
I love Before Sunrise. One of the many reasons I love it is because it's so dialogue driven. right? I mean, obviously there's a lot of emotion that that drives it too, but there is a lot of dialogue about, their philosophical beliefs in love, romance, life, their ideologies, what they believe in, what they don't.
Yeah, it's the whole film.
So it literally is the whole film.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
I didn't spoil anything. Chill out, bro.
I'm just saying.
Chill out, bro.
I haven't seen it yet.
For those who don't know, we're showing it to John tonight.
And I'm very excited. I've been looking forward to watching this movie for like a month, at least.
At least a month. Whereas with this film, Lost in Translation, I was a little taken aback, but then happy to see that it's not so much dialogue driven as it's driven by pure emotion.
Yeah.
The tone you feel in the film, the tone you feel between the two characters, Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson, which was a new, satisfying viewing experience compared to Before Sunrise, which again, I think is a perfect movie, but after loving that movie so much and wanting to see more romance films, to see a romance film that is driven in a different way is cool.
Yeah. Other John?
Yeah, I think
Other John.
I'm kidding.
The taller John.
You're a funny man, tall John.
I like how we can't have a coherent conversation in the podcast because as soon as it switches speakers, there's immediate roasts that just get thrown out.
Just the way it is.
We just can't have any coherent dialogue.
Yeah.
Mostly between you two.
Yeah, it's the burden of being another John.
Or maybe it's because there's asbestos in this room. I don't actually know.
What? Say your point.
It's not 83653 or what, I forget. That's John's password to his phone, by the way.
Now you're never getting this back. I have his phone.
Oh my god.
No.
Oh yeah. Make your point, good
Oh,
sir.
I think John, lesser John, hit the nail on the head with this one, because it is a very different film, and that's what I love so much about it. It's so intimate. It's so subtle. It doesn't.
Unlike the way you said that.
It's so subtle. No, it's a brilliant brilliant display of the human condition. It's not over the top like most romance films can be. It's something I think I realized when something started to go wrong between the main two characters that are trying to fall in love. I didn't realize how emotionally invested I was until that started to go wrong, and I started freaking out. And I'm like, no, this has to work. This has to work. And I thought that that subtlety didn't hit me until that moment, and I thought that was so brilliantly done that I still can't figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how much we're going to talk about this movie, but
TJ, this is 50% your podcast.
that is true. Yeah, I just love this movie. It's like, especially like what you guys have been saying. It's just like the vibes of it and like the almost the lessness of it, where it's just like it's sometimes there's just not a lot of talking. It's just music and lonely cinematography. I love that kind of thing. And I think it's just like, I mean, that's why it's, such a big film and that kind of subcategory of like drama romance. It's like lonely cinema. It's like top of the top. And I love that. It's, yeah. Mm-hmm. Amazing film.
It is. Really is. Bill Murray, I was glad to see him in a dramatic role.
Yeah.
It was quite cool. Obviously, I also wondered about halfway through the film. Obviously, Sofia Coppola, great director, good. She writes a few stuff, right? Didn't she write this one?
I think she writes like pretty much all her movies.
Right. She's a great writer, but I was wondering how many of Bill Murray's lines were improvised, because that's obviously his thing. And there was a lot of lines where I'm like, that sounds like a Bill Murray line. That sounds something like Bill Murray would say.
It feels so like just creatively like him. It's like in the moment they're like, I'm making that joke.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, it honestly too, for a movie that doesn't have to rely on cinematography, it has some good shots to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very iconic like shot film. I mean, like a lot of those shots are just used like everywhere. I mean, it's just a very iconic film in general. But I mean, the cinematography really adds to it, and is like arguably one of the most iconic parts of that movie, other than like the writing and stuff like that. But
Yeah, you have so many Leonardo DiCaprio Once Upon a Time in Hollywood moments where you're like, wait a second,
I know that.
I know that scene, I know that shot, I've seen that shot before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very glad I rewatched this.
How long had it been since you watched it last time?
I know I have it on Letterboxd. Actually, let's see.
TJ's giving us the exact date. He's a very precise individual. So, Apocalypse Now, Lost in Translation, definitely the best double feature of all time.
February 14th, 2021.
Okay, so it had been a couple years.
Yeah.
It'd been more than a couple years.
3 years.
3 years, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, classic Coppola film. Not just like Sophia, but I mean just like the Coppola name in general.
Yeah.
The dynasty in the film industry.
As far as familial directing pairs, which I don't know how many there are. Well, I mean, you have the Coens, but Sofia Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola, up there.
Yeah.
Maybe the greatest familial directing duo of all time.
Maybe.
I mean,
especially, I mean, like for people who don't do like films together in terms of like
right,
this person and person, I think it's probably. I mean, especially of like how iconic each of them are.
Right. I'm trying to. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Well, and that family gets even crazier because you realize because Nicolas Cage is also related to Coppola.
Nick Cage.
I did not know that.
Yeah, his last name is Coppola. Nick Cage is
Really?
technically,
but he changed it for he didn't want to be associated because he just didn't want to. He said the reason. I can't remember why, but he just didn't want to be associated with. Not for a bad reason, but he didn't want to be associated with Francis Ford Coppola. So
yeah, but I mean between those three, I mean then you got the one kid or the one son who works with Wes Anderson on like literally everything.
Actually,
yeah, he's like the co-writer of like half of Wes Anderson's movies and is like his AD on like everything. He's pretty much like one of the creative minds that helps Wes Anderson. And I think he's starting to direct his own movies. I don't actually know. And then I think Francis Ford Coppola's granddaughter is now making movies. So yeah, now Generation 3 of Coppola is entering the film stream.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're literally the Mannings of
at this point
film.
They really are.
With the Mannings, you have Archie Manning, you have Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, and then also Arch Manning. And so there's 3 generations, and then Coppola has 3 generations.
Yeah.
How about that? That's crazy.
It's insane to watch. But I mean, I think the latest one, I think she's put out 2-3 movies.
You know what one I want to check out now that we watched Lost in Translation? I want to check it out beforehand. Was On the Rocks with Bill Murray. It's another. Well, no, it's a father-daughter movie.
Yeah,
and which I can only imagine how much Coppola, her father, influenced that movie in their relationship. Yeah. Probably influenced it quite a bit, I would imagine. I don't mean to take a side tangent here, but that's what we're known for. To me, a lot of great art stems from diving into your background, right?
Oh yeah.
Obviously,
write what you know.
Write what you know. That's a big, prominent thing in writing, and so I can only imagine that movie keys in on her relationship she had with her dad, which you can imagine was tumultuous because of the family moving everywhere for the shoots that they were doing for Apocalypse Now, which again was crazy. You had her father literally having, what was it? It wasn't a heart attack. It was didn't he go into a coma?
A seizure? No, he had a heart attack. Martin Sheen had a seizure. Or no.
No.
Other way around.
Right.
You were right.
Yeah. I can only imagine what she went through and in trying to get her dad's attention and trying to have a healthy family in those situations is probably basically impossible.
I mean, celebrities all around. My goodness.
Yeah.
That's a rough field to, to be married in? Like, what, we looked up the statistic.
Yeah, it's, the divorce rate is double that of the regular divorce rate
So it's
in the
about
United States.
75%.
Yeah.
It's about half for normal
Okay.
marriages.
Okay.
Yeah, I On the Rocks, I think she does another like father-daughter relationship film. I think it has Stephen Dorff in it. It's him and like Elle Fanning or something like that. I think maybe I might be thinking of someone else, but that sounds right. It's a few years early. I think it's like 2010, so it's like earlier in her career. But I've also heard that one's pretty good. But
basically what this comes down to is she has so much. It makes sense that she's focusing in on all these relationships, whether it's a paternal relationship or just any familial close relationship, because she has so much experience with those not connecting and maybe connecting and falling apart. Well, definitely she does, because TJ, as you explained to John and I, there is a backstory behind the writing of
Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation. So she has all these different experiences with relationships. So it makes sense why she returns to a lot of her movies return to those kind of things.
Yeah, pretty much. But
that
fantastic movie.
Is there any TJ, Lost in Translation? John,
Oh.
Lost in Translation?
Salud.
Salud.
Grazie.
You don't salute with us?
No.
Strictly Italian. Chugs pepper on the daily.
Okay. We went through the two movies that we watched recently. Mm-hmm. Both very... It's great how those two tie together because they're, like we said, they're Coppola movies.
Yeah.
Is there anything on your guys' minds that you need to just let off? Do you need to let off some steam somehow? Do you need to say something that's been bugging you?
That's been stewing in your mind.
Yes. I posed this question to John at dinner, which...
I was not there for.
You were not there for because you were being a good human, a good friend, and talking to my family.
Yeah.
I was being a wallflower and talking to John.
John's not a very good friend.
Well, John doesn't fit in with his family much. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm the real first son.
Well, you do. Right now, you and William have the hair, so.
Oh, yeah.
And we did find out that your ID card literally looks like William. So
it's insane.
It's very interesting.
It's uncanny.
I know it's like illegal, but I'm so tempted to just get William the ID and see what happens. See if they would just. I mean, again, it's so similar that I think it would work. It would work.
Who knows?
But anyway,
it's odd.
It is odd. I was posing this question to John, and he brought up something that it's definitely true. But is it good to be genuine 100% of the time? And John, I'm asking you, TJ. I mean, John, you can rephrase what you said, but I've been thinking about this.
Like, is this like real quick? Is this the manic philosophy group now?
Yeah, after Apocalypse Now and now this. Yeah.
No, it is not going to be genuine 100% of the time.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to bullshit. At the end of the day, you can't. You as a person are not going to please everyone the way that you are, so you have to change yourself to meet those demands that they need, whether it's in a work or just personal way.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it has to be 100% of the time. I was thinking of it, and John, you can explain the way that the first thing you brought up, in the sense that just that it isn't natural. It isn't natural for humans to do that, right? Is to be genuine 100% of the time. You have to do things like that, and you have to do things like the thing that John first brought up.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, it has to do the same thing. It kind of goes along the same train of thought as being perfect 100% of the time. You really can't be anything 100% of the time.
That's true.
That's just not human. That's just not real.
Yeah.
You brought up something, John, which was kind of interesting about that when I asked that question.
Yeah, I kind of brought up the topic of like relationships. I think there's a time and a place for everything, and I think in the heat of the moment, instinct is not always right. And so, like TJ was saying, sometimes you just kind of have to bullshit, and I think it's also the context matters, because often a question or will be asked or something will be done with an ulterior motive. That's not really what they're asking. That's not really what they mean to do on the surface. There's subtleties, and reading those subtleties, you kind of have to adjust what you say or do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I brought up that question because I have been trying to be more of a genuine person. Well, I'll be honest. There are definitely moments where in the past where I think a lot of people are like this, where they are supposed to be genuine but they're not.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
I definitely have done that in the past, and so I just kind of was thinking about that. Where should the limit be, and should you be genuine all the time? I never thought you should be, but
yeah,
I thought it was an interesting thing to bring up. That's just kind of been bugging me recently.
Yeah.
So you've been trying to be more genuine. So you've been telling me how much of a terrible friend I am. I appreciate the honesty, John.
And he really means it.
Yeah. I can feel it when I go home and cry myself to sleep.
As you pour yourself a full glass of red wine.
Dang it, he got me.
Pull out a cigarette and start smoking.
I'll just hide behind my book over here, okay? After you said that, you got me.
It gives me my Bill Murray moment. We can just go down to the bar, just drink,
do some karaoke maybe.
For a relaxing time.
A little karaoke.
True Centauri.
Also,
fall in love with Scarlett Johansson. That's a night.
It was legendary. They pulled out in the karaoke. Bill Murray was singing "More Than This" by who is it by?
And he kills it.
Roxy Music, which I listen to every now and then. So I was like, that's kind of sick. He does kill it, dude.
He does. Has Bill Murray ever done a musical?
That's a good question. Off the top of my head, I would say no, but who knows?
I was just wondering, yeah.
I'll do the searching this time, my friends.
I was gonna say maybe he's in Little Shop of Horrors, but I'm thinking of Steve Martin.
He is in Little Shop of Horrors.
He is?
Isn't that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is he in Little Shop of Horrors?
He's way down the list. So he's Arthur Denton.
Oh, does he sing in the movie?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I watched it like a year ago. It's a good movie, but yeah, it has a bunch of small comedy cameos, and I don't think I remember him singing, but maybe.
Now, is the sequel to this movie Big Shop, Big Horrors?
I think we just need to ask Frank Oz.
Okay.
So what's the prequel to this?
Miniature Scares at a miniature plant house.
Minute? Do we go minute?
Ooh, minute.
I like
not
minute.
miniature.
Microscopic.
Microscopic. That'll be before minute. Microscopic, okay. Minute, ooh. Little, big. And then if we want to get multicultural here, we could be El Grande.
Okay. Racist son of a bitch.
Hey, I didn't say the joke that I was originally going to say, okay?
Okay, well, our curiosity is...
Well, you know what they say, that the curiosity does kill cats.
But none of us are cats here.
Little do you know. I'm a furry.
Okay, I was going to say this if you weren't. The closest person to being a cat here out of the three of us is you, TJ. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
It is. I was going to go somewhere.
YouTubers and movies.
What was I going
Who's the best YouTuber to be in a movie?
Will Smith.
Oh God, from YouTube Rewind.
Jack Black.
Well, Will Smith also has his own YouTube channel.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has a guy that I haven't checked up on it in a very long time, but
Yeah, I don't think anyone has.
Yeah.
Post slap.
Post. There was post Big Bang, and then there was post slap.
Yeah. How we split up history.
Will Smith's career can be defined as two ways: pre-slap and post-slap.
Yeah.
Is he? What is the general public's opinion on him right now? Does anyone know?
I don't know. I haven't heard about him in a long time.
Yeah, he's quiet.
Yeah.
Or been silenced, I don't know.
He released, I know, one movie.
I was gonna say I remember
Wasn't
that
it
coming out.
Emancipation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Anton Fuqua movie.
Right.
And it came out and everyone like nobody cared. Everyone was like, "It's a good movie," or "It was a decent movie," but no one cared because it had Will Smith and he was still in the heat of controversy. Even after like a few months, but it was not a hot ticket release as it was 6 months before.
Yeah. Anton Fuqua, interesting director because he doesn't have like a distinct style per se.
Yeah.
I mean, he will go back sometimes to certain settings or topics, but he'll randomly do like Magnificent Seven, and then he also just has Training Day on there, and he kind of just goes
The Equalizer.
He kind of just goes all over the place, and he doesn't really have a distinct style. Still makes great movies. Training Day, great movie, but it's always kind of funny when you come across directors like that who don't have a distinct style. But they make good movies.
Yeah.
Rob Reiner's kind of the most infamous, but
Yeah.
you couldn't tell no one could tell you one thing that's distinct about his storytelling style, yet he's made 4 classics. More than that. Yeah.
Mr. Man, he made some classics.
John, how many Rob Reiner films have you seen? Here, let's go through the list. A Few Good Men.
Nope.
When Harry Met Sally.
No. I want to watch that one, though.
Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap.
No.
Obviously, you've seen The Princess Bride, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Okay, that's probably the only one you've seen then.
Misery, and then Stand By Me.
Oh,
I did watch that one.
You have seen Stand By Me?
Yes. That's a good one.
people forget that I don't know if it was a novella, but whatever, short story, but whatever the original property was, it was written by Stephen King.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's The Dead Body, isn't it? That's what the
Yeah.
story's called?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it might be a short story. That's my guess, but I don't know.
Yeah. I know
Technically, the
Shawshank's-
internet does exist, but
I know Shawshank's a novella from him.
yeah, and Shawshank, written by him.
No shot.
I don't know.
Shoddy Cap'n.
That one has a completely different name though. It's like Rita Hayworth and the something. It's like, this is Shawshank? What?
Didn't he also do The Green Mile, the original
He did
thing
do
for
Green
that?
Mile.
Yeah.
Dude.
Stephen King writes an automatic. Well, I mean, he writes like he just publishes stuff like all the time. So
And doesn't get credit. Doesn't sound like.
some of the things really go under the radar. Considering like I feel like all his big stuff is all the weird stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll occasionally get your Shawshank Redemptions and his.
Green Mile. That's so bizarre.
Yeah,
So it is a book.
it is a book.
The body. Okay, his net worth is $500 million, which that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I bet at this point he probably owns his own publication thing
Yeah.
or something to do that. Considering he's always publishing.
Yeah.
But
Misery wasn't the original thing for that Stephen King too.
that's Stephen King.
My guy in the 80s and 90s was just like all his stuff
Yeah,
was being made into movies.
it was being made, or the original of that.
Yeah.
Christine.
Carpenter. Wow.
Carrie. That's a 70s movie.
By the way, Kurt Russell finally went on GQ to do his career timeline.
Uh-huh.
It was incredible. I felt so good.
Yeah.
Talk about The Thing.
Talked about The Thing. Talked about Tombstone. Talked about...
Your mom.
He did, actually, which is kind of funny. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
But halfway through, he just casually shouted out my mom.
Speaking of Kurt Russell, I really want to watch Death Proof.
Me too.
That's like, I was just thinking about that today. It was a shower thought of all things.
A shower thought.
Shower thoughts.
Okay.
What?
This
Petition, new segment on this podcast called Shower Thoughts.
That could be wild.
I thought about the Grindhouse thing, that double feature, earlier because I watched Thanksgiving the other day. That amazing movie.
Thanks Killing?
That's an absolute banger of a movie. The new Thanksgiving, the Eli Roth movie.
Oh, okay.
Which I will be real, I genuinely very much enjoyed that movie.
Really?
It's really funny.
Okay.
And it's actually kind of good. I'll give it its due time. And that, I think that was originally concept-wise something from like the little shorts at the beginning.
Of Death Proof?
Of Grindhouse. It's Death Proof
Grindhouse.
and Planet Terror.
Oh.
And then they do a bunch of little fake ads, kind of like Tropic Thunder. And then like, I think a lot of them are done by famous directors. Like Edgar Wright does one. Rob Zombie after the music career.
Hold the phone.
Yeah, Rob Zombie makes movies.
What?
Yeah,
Since when?
since like 2000.
Oh my god. I'm so behind the curtain.
We should watch House of a Thousand Corpses sometime.
I'm so game.
It's not amazing, but it's
Rob
enjoyable.
Zombie.
Yeah, he's a gem of a human.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that originally came from there, and I was like, oh shit, Tarantino, I need to watch that.
Yeah. I always forget that Kurt Russell collaborated with Tarantino quite a bit. He's in 3 of his movies.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Death Proof.
Hateful Eight.
He is in Hateful Eight. I always forget about that. Yeah.
Which is cool because speaking of The Thing, it is just a Western.
Cowboy the Thing,
Yes.
pretty much.
Which
Yeah.
I'm not saying that makes it you should downgrade it because of that. I'm just saying that's what it is.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I gotta watch. I need to rewatch Tarantino movies. It's been a while since I've seen probably all of them.
I think the last Tarantino movie I watched was Kill Bill with You.
This a few months ago, I rewatched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but other than that, I haven't seen one in probably like 3 years. I think I watched like Django last, but
What's your favorite Tarantino movie? Juan.
My favorite?
Yes.
yeah. Which ones have you seen?
I've seen Pulp Fiction. I started Hateful Eight, never finished it. Reservoir Dogs. I've never seen Kill Bill. That's one on my list. Django Unchained. I'm forgetting.
Inglourious Bastards.
I've seen that, yeah. That was a good one.
Did we watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with him?
We did.
Okay.
That's right. We were actually there. The whole group was there for that, weren't they?
I think I at least know Emerson and him now that he just said that. I don't think anyone. Maybe
Was Austin there?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But yeah, I was gonna say we got a decent amount of people there.
I think my favorite was Reservoir Dogs.
Well, that's a banger movie.
I loved
Yeah.
that one. That one was a pleasant surprise. I was not expecting it to be that good.
Yeah, very early, very
Yeah.
very small scale for what he eventually does.
Yeah.
It is one of those movies that shows you why constructs and restraints and limited budgets make really good movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
small budgets can be great.
Yeah.
Limitations. Having limitations can make really great movies.
Yeah.
Trying to work around them.
Yeah.
Confidence under pressure.
That was something I was just looking at yesterday. Was I mentioned this to John earlier, but yesterday I watched Saw.
Okay, the whole John thing.
Sorry, this John. You were reading.
Oh yeah, that's true. My bad.
But yeah, that I was looking at that movie, and They couldn't find funding, so they got like a grossly under budget thing. It was like $1 million, and I mean that movie's a classic now, but I mean the amount of what you can do with $1 million in some ways is pretty crazy.
Who wants to win $1 million?
Small loan, $1 million.
That's a game show, bro.
That's something I haven't thought about in so long.
I know.
Donald Trump.
What a meme.
Meme.
Dude, I love that meme. I say it a little too much, but still. Every now and then. I don't say it that much, but...
What, small one of $1 million?
So much for being genuine, John.
The way you should do that, though, is you should do it in a game show voice. I got a small loan of $1 million.
What's your best game show voice, Johnny?
It's not going to be better than mine.
I got a small loan of $1 million. That was pretty good. I'd watch that.
Yeah, the game show I'm thinking of is Saw.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah, that's a good game show.
I
That's a good
think
game
like
show.
Rob Zombie could be the host of that.
Oh yeah.
Can we get
Not Carrie Elliott.
Ozzy Osbourne to be the game show host? The current Ozzy Osbourne?
Yeah, old Ozzy Osbourne.
So faded. He in interviews cracks me up in interviews. She's so lost.
I will never forget that in an interview he's like he wants Denzel Washington to play him in a movie.
Oh my God, there's another. Speaking of that like same kind of thing, there was like an actors roundtable, like those kinds of videos, and it's Danny McBride, that comedy guy that's Eastbound and Down and Tropic Thunder and stuff, and he's like, dude, Kanye West, he flew me out to his house, and he's like, if they ever make a movie about me, I want you to play Kanye. And everyone was like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, dude, I don't know. Apparently I'm in the running to play Kanye.
Was this before Kanye went insane?
Who knows?
Okay.
Oh, Kanye's always probably been a little insane,
right.
if we're being real.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Kanye's gonna blacklist this podcast now.
Yeah,
Nobody's
he's gonna
fun of him.
Honestly, out of any celebrity, I wouldn't be surprised if Kanye somehow found this exact podcast, because Kanye is Kanye. Actually,
Kanye is Kanye.
he's somehow crazy and just weird enough to somehow find this podcast out of all things that is not popular in any way.
No.
Yeah.
He would find a way.
Yeah.
Tweet at him right now.
TJ, you got to do your game show voice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What do you want me to say?
Say the older John is the superior John.
The older John is the superior John.
Ooh. Both accurate and a good game show voice.
Okay, I can't beef on that. That was actually really good.
I try these things and I win. I win the money. The money is mine.
The money's. That's right.
Yeah.
What do you think about Jean-Claude? Would Jean-Claude Van Damme be a good game show host? I think so, definitely. Because, see, here's the thing. He could bring a new dimension to the game show. He could do karate and martial arts.
I was going to say he could kickbox the loser.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. That'd be brutal. I'd watch that. 100%.
Okay.
There would be great compilations of that.
Guys, how could we forget Diane Thomas?
I see it. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, boy. I see something.
Of legend.
Of old. Oh. Jenny.
Bam! Lodge Dutch Oven Cooking Basics with Diane Thomas.
To anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about is like so confused right now.
Hopefully the viewers on YouTube can see the glorious portrait of Diane Thomas. Honestly, I kind of want that sports jacket, low-key. The pink one?
It's very nice. I would wear that.
She's basically saying, Don Johnson, take this, with that pink sports jacket.
Yeah.
Sports coat.
For those who don't know, in our friend group, John and I, the older John, we found a VHS at his cabin that's lodged Dutch oven cooking basics. And probably since we were like 16, this has been one of the best jokes in our friend group. We just watch it when we had a VHS around.
Yeah.
Do we still have VHS around here?
I do. We do.
Okay, good.
What I should totally do is just try and screen record somehow some sound bites from this and totally just put them on the soundboard.
That'd
Should.
be so incredible.
I'll do that. I'll do that sometime.
Well, you could probably like plug the VHS into your computer.
Ooh.
Plug
Yeah.
into the TV and into your computer, and then you could clip it that way.
One of the most satisfying sounds is a VHS going in a VHS player.
I love that.
So satisfying.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Something a disc can never replace.
Not quite on the same level as me punching John, but
Which has never happened.
never happened, but I can only imagine.
Where are you punching him? In the kidney? Or maybe even the spleen?
I'll punch him in the hamstring.
Oh.
Eye for an eye type of thing.
There's a lot of hamstring talk going around.
Yeah.
It's not okay,
I'd rather be a spleen puncher than a hamstring puncher.
Yeah.
right? But remember, it's because
Honorable.
my hamstring.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, everything's about you, John. Okay, so.
First of all, I'm not the one that was talking about hurting my hamstring. It was you.
Talking about you, not myself.
Okay, but I didn't tell you to talk about me.
Well,
And this is why the
You're right.
Johns need marriage counseling.
okay, I've actually had this idea.
To go to marriage counseling with someone?
That would be sick, but also like
It's
along
terrible.
those same lines. What if you're like running on the green belt, right? And and you had a stroller,
Okay.
but you just covered it, and so no one knew what was inside it. And so you just put like a watermelon in there or something, and then you just send that thing off the green belt and watch everyone just freak out.
Can we do this? Oh, that was good. That was crispy on my ears.
That was hurt my own.
I'm glad I was able to avoid that.
Oh, you'll...
I will take these off as soon as you try it.
I'll get you when you least expect it.
In post.
In post, yeah. He's
John-
going over the clip again, and he's just like,
If we do MVP awards or awards for this show,
There was. Are you more of a 9-volt kind of man, or are you a AAA?
I'm
Or are you a C battery kind of guy?
I'm AAA, but more in the sense of the
The gaming title?
the towing company,
Oh, yeah.
the people that go and start your battery for you and
Yeah,
tow
yeah.
your vehicle.
John's truck always breaks down. Such a wimp.
Well, this is why you don't drive. I mean, you would be cool if you drove a PT Cruiser, but...
Yeah, we're not all that cool.
So on our next road trip,
Mhm.
just because you said that, I will just you individually. I'll create a simulation for you to be what it would be like if your vehicle did break down in the middle of a road trip in the middle of nowhere. So basically, that meaning just leaving you and us going off,
Okay,
with
interesting.
in a place with particularly no service.
Okay,
Just
I'll-
because you made that joke.
I'll take that challenge.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Hitchhike. That would be
Hitchhike
an
to the
adventure,
nearest
actually.
town.
We should just imagine this podcast just going out in the middle of nowhere and doing an episode with no service.
That'd be incredible.
That'd be chaotic.
I feel like we need to do it. We for a while there, when we were adventuring outside of the studio, we recorded a podcast on my balcony.
We should do that again.
We recorded a podcast in your apartment.
We have.
We recorded a podcast on my sofa.
We should do that again.
Do that again. But I'm saying we need to get out there more though. We need to go to some public places. I'm saying a park. I'm saying place with no service. I'm saying.
What if we be like those guys that are we could do those the thing where you just set up a table, and then it's like two people with mics, and they sit and they just interview people on the street. We could talk about random things with people on the street. Their movie takes.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would actually. That's
super
something to
fun.
consider actually, because that would get our name out there more, and we could get instead of 3 listeners, we could get 5. You know.
Who knows?
There we go. Represent.
Even if we ever get big, I'm still gonna
Right.
just keep that joke going.
Oh, it's the best joke.
Yeah.
It's like how I keep half your host alive.
Yeah. 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 True. What I was gonna say earlier was, we need to start doing an award show at the end of the year where we give out awards to ourselves or the guests we've had on, so MVPs or just something like that. And the award for best sound should just ironically go to John because he literally ruins the audio.
So that was an underhand throw, and I still butchered it. Say it again. I got you, brother. This guy stinks.
Because he ruins it so much, and it requires more editing on
Does it
my
really?
part. Yeah, because I have to go to the individual sections and lower the volume, bruh.
Or like, I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't, John.
I can't escape.
I would be so impressed if you could squeeze through.
I was
there
gonna say
without
if you could
breaking
make that,
your
that would
camera.
be awesome.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
That was a hearty clap.
That was a hearty clap. Can we soundbite that?
All right.
Don't take my book. Give me a question. Give me a trivia question. Do it now. Do it.
I'm trying to find a movie you've seen.
Wow. Yeah, that's probably true.
True or false? In the film Happy Gilmore, the title character's first love is not golf, but hockey.
True.
That is true.
Your clapping means nothing to me, by the way.
Well, thank you for being honest, John.
You're welcome. I'm trying to be a more genuine person.
Okay, well, is it always good to be a genuine person?
No.
Oh my god.
Schnikes.
Jinkies.
Cheapers, creepers.
Okay.
I like those movies.
Is there
Not the guy who made
anything-
them.
Is there anything else you guys want to say before I each give you a trivia question, then we can end this thing?
Plead the fifth.
Okay, we're gonna talk about this next episode, but John, what's your movie? What?
I just forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead, TJ.
You just need to interrupt me.
You need to interrupt me.
No, I was interrupting TJ. I don't like interrupting TJ. I do like interrupting you, though. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about this next podcast episode, but what's your movie of 2023? Or did we already ask you this when you were last on?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did. Oh yeah, because you said Boy and the Heron.
I would probably say that. I don't remember it, but yeah, I would definitely.
We would know
say
the
that.
answer to this because I'm pretty sure we were there with you. But what would you say the last great movie you saw was Lost in Translation? Or did you watch one even sooner than that?
Actually, yesterday.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
What'd you watch yesterday?
Yesterday, I watched American Sniper.
Never seen it.
It's a story for sure. I don't.
I would hope so. It's a movie.
It's. I honestly think because it's a true story, it definitely has. You kind of give it what it's worth, but I mean incredible. I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, a lot of people like it. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like the best movie I've seen, but it's.
Yeah.
I think it's.
It was
worth a
in
watch.
Clint's stretch of movies where he was just getting nominated every single movie.
Yeah.
Pretty much. There was like a stretch from early 2000s to the mid 2010s where at least least it felt like. Every other movie, if not every movie, was getting some sort of nomination.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Between, like, I'm thinking, like, Gran Torino, $1 Million Baby, Tales of Iwo Jima, Flags of Our Fathers,
Mystic River.
Soul. I don't know if Sully got something. Well, American Sniper.
What's the one with Matt Damon where he's the
Invictus.
Invictus?
Yeah.
I always forget the name of that movie.
Apparently, I think people roasted him for his South African accent. I think maybe.
I mean, I don't
Anyway.
think he got the Oscar nom for the movie anyway. So
Yeah, but for a while, I mean, for large stretches of his career, Clint Eastwood was a sure pair of hands where he was just, hey, if you want to make a good movie or a movie that gets Oscar noms, just give it to Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Now, last few haven't been as much, but
True. Well, I would, with the exception of,
did The Mule get a few?
no, I was thinking of Richard Jewell,
That is true.
which
Out of all of them, yeah, that's
did get good reception
mm-hmm.
and did get at least one Oscar nom. Kathy Bates, I know, got nominated.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Besides that one, I would agree.
Yeah. Oscar noms not so much. Some people like some of them, but not as much as the other movies.
Mm-hmm. TJ, you watch a lot of movies.
I do.
What was the last great movie you watched? Is it something after, or have you just been watching terrible movies?
I do like my terrible movie.
Yes.
No, I'll just stick with I'll just stick with Saw. I liked it.
Saw.
It was a good movie. Notoriously the series is gross. The first movie's not that gross, if I'm being completely honest. It like Texas Chainsaw. It cuts away from a lot of its violence, and it just leaves it to your mind. And so, honestly, if you want a good thriller movie, just watch the first Saw, because you're in for something good.
Did we ever do a episode where we talked about all the Alien movies?
We have not, no.
That would be low-key smart, especially with John.
We could. Have you seen any of the Predator movies?
I've not seen any of them.
Okay.
We could just do Alien.
Well, I was saying, like, if we did both, we could do like a tier list or something. But
Yeah, that's true.
just throwing that idea out there. But yeah, we could totally talk Alien and stuff like that. Do a ranking.
Because I honestly, it's kind of funny I'm saying this considering how good the first two are. I'm more excited to talk about the last two just because how pleased I was with them for coming so late and being when a director usually comes back to a franchise that can often become very poor.
Yeah.
And poorly.
Work. Yeah.
They're good movies to talk about because we're talking about deeply philosophical, psychological, ideological, whatever-ical movies. Those ones are for sure that.
They're weirdly more philosophical than you would think they are.
Yeah, talking about creationism and all that jazz. Not the movie. TJ, did you say you wanted to tell everyone what we were doing next?
Oh, yeah. I mentioned this at the end of last podcast. We're doing a tier list of 2023 movies.
And I finally watched Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah. We saw that.
Very interesting. Yes, we did.
First thoughts, terrible movie. Martin Scorsese doesn't have his touch anymore. Just a terrible movie.
Absolutely overrated. I can't think of a single good movie he's ever made. You're saying he even had a touch?
Yeah, true.
Okay, he's a legend.
I'm not kidding.
Oh.
Is there anything else you want to mention to you about the episode?
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's just movies we've collectively seen. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. There's gonna be movies we talked about it on there, movies we haven't, which should be fun. So.
Should be fun. I'm excited. Thank gosh, John won't be there.
Johnny isn't.
You can't escape. I tried.
True, I freaking bumped my foot on the door that the tripod was blocking. That thing is indestructible.
So when when they reference things that go bump in the night, it's your foot. That's what goes bump in the night.
I'm in every house, bumping my feet left and right.
Dang. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this episode. Thank you, John, for coming on this episode of the podcast.
Thank you for faking that genuineness.
John,
I really appreciate it.
are you going to teleport into my closet like Golden Freddy?
Oh, is
Only, what?
he was
only-
talking to you, so.
Only if Josh Hutcherson's in the room.
Yeah. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's. What a movie.
So are you telling me there's a shiny Freddy Krueger?
Golden Freddy?
Yeah.
Close enough.
Okay. Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you enjoyed this episode. You can catch us on YouTube, on Instagram, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts.
In the streets.
In the streets, interviewing people supposedly. I think that's a thing we're going to do. We appreciate everything, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Manic Movie Misfits podcast.